Hey everybody, it's Jake with J&K Tackle. Welcome to another edition of How I Paint, and today we're going to be working on a Firebred chub and on some MoonZilla chubs. Big difference between the two is that they're both a moon jelly, but this one, the MoonZilla, is a glowing moon jelly. The Firebred has been super hot for the last couple of years, and so has MoonZilla, and recently there's been a pretty high demand for them. I'm kind of running out of Dodgers, so I got to knock these out. But appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned. All right, so as always, we're going to start off with a primer. And that's going to go in the center for the MoonZilla, and then on the wings of what's going to be the Firebred. Now, with this one being a glowing moon jelly, I'm not going to need to put a whole lot of primer on there. I'm going to top it off with a little bit of pearl white to get that shine. And over here, same thing. I mean, this one's going to need to be a little bit darker, probably three coats. This one's probably two. That's just to make sure that when I put that orange on here, it really pops. All right, so I had a little bit of water in the line, which spattered right there, but shouldn't be an issue. I'll just go over it again. So I think the reason why we're in high demand is because we were recently featured on Spilt Milk Productions on YouTube, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity for people to get to see our Dodgers in action. And for those that follow us and enjoy watching us paint and go fishing with our gear, I definitely implore you to go and check it out if you're not already subscribed to Spilt Milk Productions. Tyler Hicks does an amazing job, and you'll become a much better kokanee and trout fisherman for it. I know I have. All right, that looks pretty good. I'll probably do one more coat over here just to get this a little bit deeper, but I'm pretty sure this MoonZilla is looking pretty close to done. I'll go ahead and hit this with another white pearl here in just a second, and then we'll go ahead and do the dots. All right, we're going to go down the center of the MoonZilla now with a little bit of pearl white. Sometimes when it's cold, this stuff thickens up so much that I kind of have to do a lot of tapping to get it going. So that's why I'm doing that. I could loosen it up a little bit with some reducer or a little bit of water, but this is fine. All right. As you can see, that kind of gives it a nice little shine, little sparkle. The next step for this one will be the orange. All right, so this next part is going to be the orange, and I like to use these dots on this scale that I've got. I usually tape both sides, that way it doesn't bleed over onto the white, and should come out with some pretty crisp dots. This might be a little bit difficult to film and paint at the same time, but we'll go ahead and give it a go. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, you want your paint to be nice and dry, and you know, if you're using a air dryer like I am, like a blow dryer, you don't want it to be smoking hot when you put this on, otherwise it's going to probably want to stick, and that could cause a lot of grief. All right, I'm going to get some paint on my fingers. I got to make sure that I'm lined up. I don't want too crooked. Of course, Kevin tells me that fish don't like straight lines, but I do, for the most part. The big thing with this design too is we don't want to be too perfect on everything, because I am going to splatter this with some other colors, and that kind of gives the appearance of a zooplankton look to it. So I like having the orange trailing down and then having like a tangerine squid about 8 to 10 inches below the Dodger. Sometimes we bring it up to around 7. This Dodger's heavy, and it's made out of premium marine grade stainless steel that I sourced from Utah. So it is definitely going to be a little bit thicker than what you're typically going to find in the Dodger world for kokanee, especially. But our squids are a little bit heavier too, so it actually works out really well. They complement each other very well. And let's go ahead and finish this one off with a couple of spatters. I'll do that in a minute. Since I've already got the orange in the gun, we're going to switch gears and we are going to throw some orange on the wings of our firebread. All right, so that's good for that first coat. Recently I've been adding quite a few more coats because this is a water-based paint and I want these colors to last for as long as possible under that UV coating when I'm done. So a couple of folks have hit me up and said, hey, I think my Dodger's faded. You know, your new Dodger looks really bright compared to our Dodger that we bought a year ago. And honestly, it's probably just because I'm throwing on so much more paint now. But that's something to think about there. Obviously with these, you don't want to keep them just laying out in the sun. You do want to charge the glow features, the phosphorescence. And to do that, you can use a black light really fast. You know, it takes a couple of seconds on each wing and put it on and put it out. You know, the glow typically lasts about 15 minutes or so on the painted glow. On the MoonZilla, that glow is ridiculous. And I have walked out to get a glass of water in the middle of the night and been spooked by something that looked like it was looking at me, and it's sure enough, it's these Dodgers just sitting there on the countertop. So that glow lasts forever, very, very long, probably at least 30 minutes to an hour at the minimum. So, but yeah, we'll do a couple more coats on this one, and then we'll finish up by peeling off the tape after I add glow, and then we'll do the dots. All right, so we're back with the MoonZilla. The firebreads are all dried up, so I'll peel these after I'm done with the MoonZillas, and then we'll do the dots on these. But you can see how nice and shiny they look now with that pearl coating and their orange dots. So one of the things I like to do at the end to kind of finish these off, because remember they're going to glow through that tape, so all this is going to be backlit by that phosphorescent moon jelly. I'm going to hit it with a couple of fluorescent colors. Today it'll be green and purple. And I'm just going to kind of use the airbrush to tap, tap, tap and get a couple spatters across here. That way when it backlights from that glow, it'll kind of look like zooplankton, which of course zooplankton happens to be one of Kokanee's favorite little treats. All right, there you go. All finished. All I got to do is take the tape off of these ones, and I'll put a UV coating on them, put them in the little oven I've got, which, by the way, Kevin is making me a new one, so I can hopefully do more than 4 Dodgers at a time. So that'll be something to look forward to. All right, so we're going to move on to the dots now. I've got the tape off. Everything looks pretty clean. I'll come through and I'll clean the edges before I UV coat these. Now, I used to do UV colors down the middle, and I would put glow on them. Honestly, I don't think it's overly necessary, and it takes a lot of time. What I've been doing recently, and I haven't seen any change in how the fish respond to this Dodger. This has been a fantastic Dodger for quite some time. The orange will glow. The center I want to get a nice bright color on, so I'm going to put down some primer to kind of space out where I want to go. And then I'll go blue, yellow, and red. And the blue that I want to use is going to be a pearl blue, which is one of my favorites. It's got a nice sparkle to it. The yellow is going to be a detail yellow, so it's a nice dark yellow. It pops a little bit better with that chrome. And then we have the detail carmine, which is a red, and it's almost like blood. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite colors. I love using this color. Kind of smells like that red cake frosting that nobody likes. But we'll get going on this and get our template laid out here with our primer. All right, now we'll rinse out the airbrush, and we'll move on to blue, yellow, and red. All right, so we're going to start with yellow first. I'm gonna come up with this detail yellow, and then we'll move to red, then we'll move to blue. That way we're kind of following a color wheel with, you know, brightness of colors, because if this yellow is kind of in the gun and then red comes in, red's going to be overpowering to the yellow, and so on with the blue. So That way, if there's a little bit of bleed over in the color, it's not going to be too dramatic. All right, we'll hit it with some of that red. All right, the final touch is going to be blue. There you go. So I'll come around and I'll clean up the little edges here on the edge and down the sides, and then I'll UV coat this. When I'm done UV coating, I always give the back a really good polish. And being that this is stainless steel, I use a stainless steel polisher, so the water just kind of beads right off the back. If you guys ever do decide you want to purchase one of these, check us out at jktackle.com, and be sure to say hello to Paula over at kokaneetackle.com on Fairview in Boise. She's been a big supporter of ours, and in fact, I'll be swinging by her shop today, dropping off 23 Chubs Dodgers. So be sure to check her out online. If we're out, do please be patient with us. We do fly helicopters half the month, so if we're out of something that you guys want, just give us a heads up, shoot us an email, let us know, and I'll give you a timeline. All right, so just for fun, I'm going to hit these with a black light for a little bit, and then we're going to turn off the light and we'll just see the difference in glow. So 2 of my most popular Dodgers, anything with this glowing MoonZilla has been super hot, but by far the 2 best. And this one's some glow and a pattern that fish love for some reason, along with that MoonZilla, so it's a nice flash. This one is flash and super heavy glow with a nice UV streak down the center. So let's take a look at these under the black light. And right there, you can see what I'm talking about. I mean, that is super cool. And we'll take the light away. Obviously, it's not super dark in here, but you should still be able to get an idea of the glow. There you have it. MoonZilla. Glows like the moon. Firebread. Check it out. jktackle.com.